Are you looking to create your first podcast like I have, but don't know where to start? Then I would like to introduce you to an amazing tool called Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's a completely free service that offers creation tools to let you record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, then distributes your podcast so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. What's more, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, so what are you waiting for? Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello all, and thank you very much for joining me in the Book Nerd Hall of Fame, the brand new Patreon exclusive show where with each episode I honor a different book from history that has been important to either myself or society as a whole. I'm sharing this first episode on the main feed with you, and if you'd like to, please head on over to my new Patreon page at patreon.com/bndpod and subscribe at the $5 level or above to catch new episodes when they air every other week, along with other great perks like ad-free episodes and access to my show notes. Again, that's patreon.com/bndpod. I really do hope to see you there, and that you'll enjoy this first free episode. Catch you again soon, everyone, and on with the show. The Book Nerd Hall of Fame, Episode 1, Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. If there's one thing you should know about me, it's that when it comes to media, romance is usually one of the lesser things I care about. I've seen enough TV shows and movies and read enough books in my decades of life at this point that it's usually pretty clear by context who's going to end up with who by the end. And I always enjoy when it does happen, but for me, the real joy is in the journey getting there. And very few fictional romances are as much pure fun as the one we're given in the book Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. At the very beginning of the book, we are introduced to one of my favorite literary heroines of all time, Sophie Hatter. As her name ironically suggests, she's a talented, headstrong hat maker and apprentice at her family's hat shop in the land of Ingery, the town of Market Shipping. There, her position as the eldest of her family's 3 daughters curses her to be fated to never succeed if she ever seeks to find her fortune. She resigns herself to her lot in life until she suddenly becomes the victim of a vengeful witch's curse, which leads her away from her home and into the sprawling, fantastical home of the mysterious wizard Howl, his young protege Michael, and Howl's plucky fire demon Calcifer, with whom she secretly makes a deal to free him from his servitude in return for freedom from her own curse. As a part of this deal, she decides to pose as Wizard Howl's new housekeeper in order to find out how to free Calcifer, and as a result, she comes to slowly learn more about the castle and its wondrous ability to travel between worlds with the turn of a dial, as well as its enigmatic owner himself. Speaking of whom, I should now take a moment to talk about our second major character and another entry on the list of my favorite fictional characters of all time, Howl, the wizard for whom the book is named. To everyone who knows him in the various worlds he visits, he is an elusive figure of pure power, rumored to steal the hearts from unfortunate young women who cross his path in order to fuel his own magic. He himself does nothing to dispel these rumors, spending hours and great deals of money to maintain his grandiose wardrobe and young appearance, both of which are his greatest sources of pride. This utter vanity, as well as his penchant for stubbornness and eccentricity, not to mention his fabled love for pursuing women, utterly drives Sophie up the wall. Our 2 protagonists are constantly at odds, both too strong-willed and afraid of betraying their own emotions to be the one to back down first, which lends an odd sort of charm and balance to their dynamic that only grows over the course of the story, as they learn more about each other, and the proverbial walls they've created around themselves slowly start to crumble. They bicker like an old married couple, yet in the end, they'd ultimately do anything to protect each other, and are willing to be vulnerable with each other in a way they can't be with anyone else. At the risk of sounding redundant, these 2 characters, both separately and apart, are nothing short of pure magic, and I can't help but be utterly captivated by them every single time I reread this wonderful book. In many ways, this story can be seen as a contemporary fairy tale in the tradition of the Grimm brothers or Hans Christian Andersen. In its pages, you'll find demons, witches, wizards, kings and queens, living scarecrows, and humans turned into dogs, to name a few things, and that breathless sense of wonder is only heightened in the beloved Studio Ghibli animated film of the same name that ultimately led me to read this book in the first place. But it's all so woven into the very fabric of the story itself that you never really stop to question any of it for a single moment, but instead let it flow over you like the melody of a beloved song when it comes up on the radio. Current events notwithstanding, the world can often be a dark place, but for me at least, this is one of the books that I can take off of my bookshelf any time and instantly feel my heart get a little less heavy, if only for a while. After all, as said by Sophie in the film, a heart's a heavy burden. For creating a story full to the brim with non-stop magic and heart unlike any other I've ever read before, and giving me a world I can't wait to go back to again and again, it is my great honor to celebrate Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones as my first official inductee into my Book Nerd Hall of Fame. I can't possibly think of a book more deserving, and if any fantasy fans out there have not had the opportunity to read this book or its sequels, then I would highly recommend doing so. I promise you won't regret it. The Book Nerd Hall of Fame is written, edited, researched, and hosted by Amber Wilchin. Thank you to Kevin MacLeod for the use of our intro and outro music, The Show Must Be Go, Sincerely Media on Unsplash via Anchor for our wonderful cover art, and a special thank you to you for listening. Please subscribe to our show wherever podcasts are found to get new episodes when they air, leave a review or comment where you can, or share this show with the book lovers in your life to help spread the word. Every little bit helps. If you'd like to connect with us online, please look for us on Twitter at BNDpod, Facebook at Booknerd Diaries, or email us at bndpod@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, or book suggestions you may have are always welcome. Until next time, thank you very much for listening, everyone. It truly means a lot. Please take care of each other, and don't forget to support your local library.